Do you ever randomly remember things that used to scare you, like videos or just commercials, things that would just really stick with you for a long time after watching them as a kid? I'm only asking because recently the Duck Song 4 came out, and I was watching it there with my girlfriend, and we are like, wow, they perfectly recreated the original ones so well. It's almost like they had this one stored and just never released it. It's uncanny how well it is. But after watching that video, I had such a weird flashback in my mind. I remember watching a scary version of Duck Song, and I was like, maybe I made that up in my head. I had no idea if it was real or not. But then I looked it up and I don't know, Duck Song scary. And I typed in the search bar and there it was. Their first thing on the YouTube search, it was Duck Song scary. And I clicked on it. I looked in the comments first, and there's hundreds of comments of people talking about how much this video traumatized them as a kid. Their parents would show it to them because they wouldn't stop playing the Duck Song, and then they would never listen to the Duck Song again. That was it. No more Duck Song. And it was so strange to think that all these people who were my age watching this were scared by this, but I had no idea that it actually was real. I thought I made up this whole evil Duck Song scary thing in my memories. I was going to watch it, and I had some hesitation, which is so strange because obviously I know this video is just going to have some cheesy jump scare at the end of it. So why am I hesitating now, however many years later? So I watched it, and it was just a jump scare. Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy, but why did I hesitate? I have no idea. But growing up, it felt like my generation really, really, really leaned into the scary stuff. They loved all the creepypastas and videos and rumors and hoaxes and all this sort of thing. I don't know why we hooked on to the weirdest topics and things like that. Why did we need a scary version of the Duck Song? I have no idea. But there it was, and it was scaring not just me, but tons of other children as well when it first came out, and it's still there today. I was thinking about making a video essay about anything really, but I just could not get this out of my head the other day watching this, and then it just opened a whole crack of things and memories in my brain of all these things that used to scare me growing up, but now looking back on them, I'm just like, wow, I really like these. Maybe it's the cheap jump scare of Reagan from The Exorcist every single time, almost on every single one of these videos. Go back and watch them. 90% of the time, it's the exact same jump scare. I don't know. It just worked every time, like a charm. Here's one of the weird things. For example, when I was younger, it was such a big thing to like scary media that me and my friends would have these things where we host all the time called guys nights, where we hang out together in high school and middle school and elementary school. And we would play some video games, drink some Mountain Dew, or play Call of Duty Zombies or anything like that. But every single time we'd also have this, meeting after a certain part of the night. We're like, okay, guys, it's time. We'll open up our glowing briefcases and toss aside the new YouTube video link for some scary videos. Every single time we would all gather our own scary videos and sit around together, because who would want to watch them alone? And we'd watch them together and try not to get scared of them all. There's so many videos that we went through and cycled through time and time again. There's a few that I remember specifically. One being Obey the Walrus. Oh man, if you haven't heard of Obey the Walrus, it's this weird mishmash of footage from Star Fox and this documentary of a person who I believe has polio or something along the lines of that. And it has this weird trippy visuals. It was just strange. It's strange to watch now as it was then. You watch it now and you have no idea what you're watching. Is it scary now? Not really in hindsight, knowing that it's not made to be scary. It's just someone who took a bunch of stuff and just put it together on the internet. But watching that as a kid, we had no idea what we're watching. Talking about it now, I have a very, very, very distinct memory of talking to my friends in class the next day after watching it. And then the teacher was coming up to us in, I think it was guitar class. And he was like, hey, what are you guys watching? And we're like, oh, it's just some scary video. And he's like, oh, I love scary videos. So then we showed the teacher Obey the Walrus. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but I don't think he was quite pleased, with what he was watching. So needless to say, don't show your teachers that, Another one that we would watch all the time would be Suicide Mouse would be another one. which always ends with a jump scare. And, it's just something about, oh, scary Mickey Mouse. Again, it's something with my generation where we love to make things that are not scary traditionally, just the most terrifying things to each other. Like creepypastas were huge in middle school. All you can see was that creepy reading, and Slender Man was gigantic. That was when all the Let's Players started playing it, and it was just a big thing. We'd all watch these. PewDiePie playing Amnesia. I would watch Uber Hacks or Nova. He'd play so many different things. Watching all these scary videos with them, it was just our weekly thing. We had no idea what started it. Honestly, I don't even remember. There was one video though that I never, ever, ever wanted to bring because it scared me so bad. And that video was a COD Zombies video of all things. Let's wind it back a little bit. My dad growing up would always tell me, The Exorcist is the scariest movie I've ever watched, and you'll never want to watch it by yourself. I'd never watch it by myself, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff about The Exorcist. Lo and behold, last year, on Halloween, we all got together and we watched The Exorcist, and I haven't seen it yet until I finally found it and watched it with them and stuff. It was okay. I mean, it's a movie from the 70s. I could see how it would scare them. It's definitely throwing, passing the line and stuff for what was okay then and still is not okay now, One thing that stuck out to me, because seeing it in the movie brought back another wave of memories, which I'm sure 90% of you know, is Reagan from The Exorcist. The face of basically every single jump scare video in the early 2000s. And that made me think again of the COD Zombies video. There's this video, it was probably around 2011. It had to be 10 years old. And growing up then, I would watch my dad play Call of Duty Zombies World at War all the time. This is before I was allowed to play any I'd say first person shooters or anything like that. So this was my big introduction to creepy, I guess, stuff with zombies. There's no music, there's no objective. You just survive as long as you can until the dead kill you. I was so fascinated by this, not being able to play it myself because we only had one copy and one Xbox at the time I believe we were playing it on. So I would watch YouTube videos all the time, and my sister would too with me. So at one point I saw this video on YouTube and I'm like, oh my gosh, how to see the ghost Samantha in the map Der Reese on Call of Duty Zombies? That's so strange. I've never heard of this. And it probably should have raised some red flags that I hadn't heard of it. There's no other videos on it, and this is a secret Easter egg that no one's ever found yet. But, I was 10 years old at the time, so I'm gonna let it slide. So I click on the video. I'm watching it with my sister. We're in the same computer chair, squished in my mom's computer chair, watching the video on the screen. And it's telling us all these, things. You do the fly trap, shoot this thing 5 times, all this stuff. Make sure you interact with this, and blah, blah. And at the very end of the video, you go and it's no, if you look between these 2 generators, just here in a second, if you look close enough, you can see, and then bam! You get hit with a jump scare with Reagan from The Exorcist. And me and my sister were absolutely shocked. We were absolutely shocked. I had never seen a jump scare before this. I had never known what a jump scare was. I was absolutely scarred. I probably started crying. But I'll tell you what definitely happened. The chair flew out from under me and my sister. We ran away like a Scooby-Doo gag, and that chair went into the wall. It literally went and carved a big dent into the wall, and we weren't allowed to have computer time for a long time. But that video, I would never bring it up at the guys' nights or with my friends. I was too scared that it would scare me still. And even to this day, I don't want to look up that video because I know that it's just a jump scare video. I know that it's not going to hurt me, but why do I have this intrinsic feeling that it's going to trigger some trauma and be oh my gosh, and turn me into a little kid again? I have no idea. And it wasn't just COD Zombies or videos on YouTube all the time. There was websites that would play. So besides watching YouTube as an average 2000s kid, you play a lot of Flash games, Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, all the time. And sometimes other sites, cool math games. And one time I found myself on the Garfield website, and Garfield was running this Halloween haunted house maze point and click adventure game. I don't remember, and I didn't even process that it was Halloween. I was just ooh, Garfield game, let's play it. So I loaded up the Garfield game, and there's a bunch of things that honestly I don't even remember there being this many jump scares in the game, but there's one that absolutely stuck out with me, and which you're walking down a hallway and you see this portrait on the wall. You click on the portrait and it's how many things are you counting in the thing? I'm oh, okay, I have no idea. And then it's you might have to look really close. And me, after the COD Zombies video, not obviously knowing anything, I zoomed in and I leaned as far into my computer. I swear I was leaning into the computer screen. I was looking for these things, and bam! I get jump scared again by Garfield. of all things, I get jump scared by Garfield, and it absolutely terrified me. I was like, nope. Nope, never reading Garfield again, never watching Garfield again. Garfield's forbidden. I do not like Garfield. To this day, I have never read a Garfield comic since, and I don't know. I don't know if it's whether, in fact, I don't like Garfield because of that, but he's definitely lost my trust and my credibility for being a funny cat. There was another one I saw on a YouTube video that was recently uploaded. I forgot who uploaded it, but I had never experienced this one as a kid, but my God, if I did, I would be absolutely done. I would not have a soul in my body. It would have leapt out of my body and been gone. But there was another website promoting, I think it was one of the early Scooby-Doo movies, the live action ones. And in that, there was also like a point and click game or something like that. And there was this mummy room. In the mummy room, there's a big tomb on the ground. You have to like open it and look for a code or something. I forget what it was. But that one was way more scary than the Garfield one. Like, that one was terrifying. And luckily I didn't see it when I was a little kid, or I'd be dead. I'd have a heart attack right then and there. My condolences goes out to all the little kids who had to experience that video or that game, because man, I would not have the heart to take it. But all this like jump scares and stuff from like elementary school really went on and like evolved into things that we really appreciated. And so going into middle school, all we saw like in theaters was Paranormal Activity. It was a huge event. Every single person was going to it. You had to see it. It was so scary that people would leave the theater and you're like, okay, it can't be that scary. And you watch it. I'm sitting down, probably 12 years old at this point, and I'm like, okay, I'm a little more mature, jump scares don't faze me so easily. I shit you not, I was absolutely stunned watching that film. I might have shit myself a little bit. I don't actually remember, but that movie scared me so bad. I had to invent this little thing for myself from then on. Every time I would watch a Paranormal Activity called the corner cam, where I'd cover up just enough of my eyes so I could only see a corner of the screen at a time. I'm like, okay, surely nothing bad happens in the corner, right? But no, every time there's a loud jump scare, everyone around you screams, my mom of which, who screams extremely loud, I would leap out of my chair and just absolutely go, ah! But Paranormal Activity was, go watch those movies. They're very, very good. Anywho, wrapping this all up, going back to the duck song, Scary, it really just made me think about all these things and seeing how much people love these trauma icebergs and scary Easter eggs in video games. It is so strange to me to think that my generation lived through all of this and just keeps pumping out more. Now we are the ones making the video games for your children to play or watch just so they could have a bad time. We had experienced that ourselves, and it was a fun time to live. I look back on these memories very fondly. And yes, I did have some hesitation to watch the Scary Duck song, but I know now that it's only out of a place of nostalgia. It's a weird form of nostalgia that we treat ourselves to, which my dad feels when he watches The Exorcist, and which I now feel when I watch basically any video with a Reagan jump scare. Anywho, thanks for watching. This is a very far cry from any of my normal content, so if you like it, let me know in the comments. And if you had any scary videos that absolutely terrified you that I didn't list, please let me know. I love watching that, and chances are that I did watch those with you as well. So let me know in the comments, and if you like this kind of content, let me know. I'll catch you guys in the next one, though, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.